everybody, welcome back to the channel. More Blood and Plunder here as we start reviewing the remaining French commanders that we missed on our first go around. So today we're taking a look at one of the major historic characters here, commanders for the French, Pierre Lemoyne D'Iberville. Very cool backstory on this guy, but we're going to focus mainly again on what he brings to the table for us as far as the game itself goes. Now this is a character with just a ton of stuff going on here, right? So first off, we're paying 30 points for him, and we're getting a hell of a lot of stuff here. Now you have some options when we field him. You have a choice between French Expeditionary Force, French Royal Navy, the French Canadian Privateers, or French Canadian Militia. So you have just, 4 factions here, which, all play very differently, but that just gives you so much more flexibility in running him, right? So, if you've maybe run him a few times in one force and you're getting a little bit maybe tired of that and want to try something new, just pop in one of the other forces and see how that works out for you. So, so far, I don't think we've seen a character that has had that many choices as to where they can fit in. And honestly, surprised that he doesn't have just like his own named force, given all the goodies he's got here. Weapons, we got the brace of pistols or firelock musket and standard melee weapons. So depending on what you want to do with him, either, we're getting in a little bit closer with the intention of using him, where the brace will probably be more useful. But if we want to maybe sit back and fire support, we got the musket option as well. 12 command points, which is, very generous. So not the best in the game, but more than serviceable enough. That's plenty of command range, especially if we're on the water, because that's going to get extended with Commodore. And the all-important 3 command points, right? We absolutely love having that. So we're going to take full use of those each turn, especially with abilities like Inspiring, to really get the most out of it, and Elan as well, which we don't see too often, but we do love that. So a couple of abilities here. We're going to kind of go alphabetically, but Cold-Blooded is a fantastic one. So basically, he has Ruthless, and any unit that's using a command point from him to fight or shoot will also gain Ruthless for that. Now, there's a lot of units out there that do already come with Ruthless, but again, given the 4 different forces and all the sheer variety of unit options and choices that we have across all those forces, really we can essentially turn on Ruthless on command, so we can be flexible. And when we're activating the commander, ideally we're using units that are in a position to where Ruthless will be effective, because the enemy unit that they're going to target will have more fatigue, and Ruthless will kick on, and maybe we can get some really just amazing shooting actions, or even some fight actions because of that. So those can be potentially really devastating if we are using it right. Now, Commodore, we've seen a lot with a lot of these commanders, especially when we're geared for fighting on the water, which, we have available for him. He's got 2 navally geared factions there with the Navy and the Privateers, but we also have some land forces options there too. But anyway, Commodore, as we know, basically, if we're giving orders aboard a ship, the command range is increased by 12 when giving actions to units on other ships. So really having a 24-inch command range as a bubble around him, right, is pretty damn impressive. So if we're playing those larger games with multiple ships and we need to give out some orders, we don't have to be so bunched up that we're going to risk things like collisions and just bad maneuvers and stuff like that. So always useful to have Commodore, so no complaints on that. Elan is one that we don't see often, but a super useful ability, especially at the right time. So basically, he can use a command point on another unit within his command range. Again, very generous command range, while he himself and his unit is in melee. So normally you wouldn't be able to do that. So the fact that you can actually pull that move and still get something else out of another unit nearby, perhaps, would be super useful. So very cool when that happens. Now, ideally, we want to preserve the commander and his unit as long as possible, especially with our points investment. So we got to be very selective of when we do get into combat. But having Cold-Blooded, right? So ideally, when we are engaging in combat, it is to have Ruthless be in effect, because of the enemy that we're targeting in combat having more fatigue than us, and hopefully doing so well that we do wipe them out. So really good stuff there. Now, broadside, I forgot, we did say we're going to try and go alphabetically. Broadside, of course, we've seen that a lot too, obviously, for naval combat by and large. So whenever we have essentially cannon shots, we're going to lump them all together, and from there hope to cause essentially more damage via getting more chances for really good crits, and crits are going to be the best way again to deal with enemy ships. So often, because in addition to just like normal damage, right, we can cause all kinds of debilitating effects like fires, floods, ruin their steering, ruin their sails, right? Just take them out of the fight, ideally. And then from there, we just make the rest of the battle on the water hopefully super easy. So we have all that now. Inspiring, we've seen that one several times as well. And very clutch again with using those command points. So basically all friendly units within his command range, again, super command range, may reroll any failed rally tests when his unit is active. So with those full 3 command points, if we do need to rally the force, getting rerolls is always super useful in this game, especially with economy or action economy always being crucial. So if we can get free rerolls, and not having to waste time with other repeated actions, other stuff like that, always going to be useful. So keeping the troops ideally in the fight as long as possible. So he's got several abilities that will take advantage of his command points effectively. And then finally, we have scouts, which we again don't see too often, but just let's tack on another special rule for him. Why not? So his unit may move through rough terrain, not structures, and not while climbing, without the -1 movement penalty. So really, he can, in almost all situations, get to where he needs to go and be in the most effective spot for that. So always useful to have that, even though we don't see it too often. But again, keep in mind with some of these forces, right? Maybe like the militia, the expeditionary force, right? There's going to be a lot of units where we can stick him in and take maximum effect of that. So all in all, he's just a badass commander. The question is just where do you put him and what points level do you field him? Let us know, guys, in the comments where you prefer him, where you've had your best successes, or if you've run against him and seen him used and how that went against you, I guess. So hit us up in the comments, like and subscribe. We'll have more Blood and Plunder for you soon. Thanks for watching.